Hey everybody, this is Jimmy Blevins and welcome to part 2 on building a site with the Mozaic platform. Alright, so now that that's finished, I'm going to close out of here and then we're going to go into our Divi library and we're going to import the layout for this home page. So I'm coming down here to my Divi library. I'm going to import a new layout. And I've got this JSON file here, homepage number 1, and this was put together by Elegant Themes. Some layouts that they had specifically for Divi, and I'll add a link to that in the comments below so that you guys will be able to get to that and grab these layouts. Okay, so it looks like everything imported all right. We've got that in there, so now let's actually go start building our pages. So let's click here on all pages. And of course they always kick us in with the sample page. We'll just throw that in the trash really quick. Click here on add a new page. I'm just going to call this page home. And then we're going to click here on use Divi Builder. And then right here we want to click on load from library. So there's our home page 1 that we've got. We want to load that up. And there it is. It imported all the images, and it actually put in some graphics there too, which I'll show you in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and publish this so it's saved. Okay, so now let's jump right into the Visual Builder, and then let's go ahead and set this page up. Okay, so you can see everything that's loaded in. The Visual Builder shows us the page. Great template. The first thing that I'm going to do though is this top section. I'm going to change that out because it's a full width slider, and I don't need a slider because I've only got one screen. So I'm just going to go with a regular section instead of a full width section. Just a single row. And then let's come in and change this. So the first thing we're going to do, and I like to have this snapped over to the left so I can see what I'm doing here with the Visual Builder settings, and then I can see my changes right here. So first thing we're going to do is change our background image. And that's all we need to do there. And then we're going to come in here. That's for some reason I chose 2 columns. I just want 1. We're going to add in our graphics. So first, let's put our logo in there. So we want to grab our image module. Here's our logo. I put a little bit of a shadow on it just so it'll stand out from the background a little, just a little bit. It was getting lost. I want to do a top to bottom animation with it, and I actually want it centered. Okay. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add another row right below it to put my buttons. I'll come back and show you where this URL is going to go. But for right now, we've got About Us. I'm going to center it. And then I want to come in here into the design settings, and we're going to use some custom styles for this button. What worked out, I think, was 17 for the button size. Text color, we're going to go with white. Background color, we've got this blue already set up in our palette. I don't want a border, so I'm just going to set the width to 0. And the radius, I had it 7 pixels. Don't need a special icon for this. For the background hover color, I was using this dark blue. Looking good, looking good. And last thing I need to do is a little bit of the style sheets, and I've got that over here in this text sheet. So I like my buttons to be a little wider, and I also changed the padding on them to make them a little bit bigger. You see, I wanted them to be taller. So I put this padding of 1 EM on the top and then 0 on the right and left hand side. And then I changed the width to 100%. So the button's going to stretch out in this column as much as it can. One last little thing I forgot in the design settings. I'm going to change that font to bold. And then that's all I need for this button right now. So I'm going to go ahead, call that good. And then really easily, I'm just going to duplicate the button. Drag it over to the next column. Another time-saving thing, so now I don't have to go in and completely recreate it. It's already there, it's already styled for me. And this one is apply now. And this button is actually going to go somewhere else. I'm going to send this off to another website. This is their link to their commercial energy division. And I want to open this in a new tab. I'm going to change the icon as well to this arrow, just to let people know that they're being taken off site when they click on that. And then I'm going to duplicate this button again, drag it over. This is going to be our contact. All right, one last little setting. Actually, first, let's get rid of this because can get rid of this. So it's no longer the top of our homepage. This is the top of our homepage, and I want it to fill the whole screen. So I've got one last little thing I want to change. And that here on the main element, I want to change the height to 100 VH. So changing that to 100 VH actually sets the height to the vertical height of the browser window. Now that I'm looking at it, I think I want to add a little more padding to the tops of these. So I'm going to come back into here to my row settings, and the top padding, I think I set it at 5 EM. Maybe a little bit more. Let's bump it up to 7. There we go. Just spreads it out a little bit. So now when somebody comes to the home page, here's the first thing that they see. So moving on down to the next section. Now this section, I didn't really keep anything in it. Didn't really work for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and blow all this out right now. In fact, I'm just going to get rid of these rows. Make my life easier. Okay, so let's jump back in here to the settings. The only thing I changed on here was I had a black background. And added in a 2-column section. In this first column, I had an image. This is our introduction to Crenshaw Energy Consultants. And then I had some text on the other side, which was this text right here. I'll go ahead and add in a text module. And then we'll paste our text into the text field. Change the color to light so it shows up. And then on all of these, I want to make them carriage returns. All of these I made a heading. There's a heading 2. Actually, let's go with heading 1 because this will make my life super easy. So when I come into design, I change the header settings, right? I want to bump this down because I don't need it to be that big. 24 should be good. And I also want to make it bold. Oh, that's the text color. Heading font, bold. Make it just a hair smaller. And then I do want to put some custom padding on the top because I'd like it to line up with the logo a little bit better. So let's try 5 spaces. Might have gone with 10. Yep, that looks good. Well, that section's done, but one last thing I want to change about this section though is this is going to be our about. So here in the CSS, in the CSS ID, I want to type about and save that, and then scroll back up here to my button. So I'm coming back to this button URL, and if I type about in the button URL, what that's going to do is signal that when I click on this button, it jumps to that ID, or it jumps to that setting or section. So this next section is where we had the little beach image behind, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that on there first. This guy's just totally relaxing in his freedom. And I believe I'll just leave the custom padding where it is. Okay, so next thing we need to do, I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to change the settings on here because I put in a little bit of a white background just so the text was a little bit easier to read. I dropped it down to about 40%. So you can still see the image through it and the text would show up. So coming in here to the text module, I've got some text for this. This will be a heading 1. I believe this was about a heading 2, I think. Okay. So now coming into the design settings, set that back to default. And then the header font size, make this a lot bigger. 62 is actually what I ended up going with. If I remember, I don't think this is actually, let me take this off of being a heading. Again, make this easy for yourself. So I come in the design settings, right? And look, I've got the 62-point font for my default. I'm going to set this to the red color and dial it down quite a bit. So it's more of just a subheading. Yeah, 25 pixels is perfect. Okay. And I move into this next section here. And put in some text. And this is the text I had for this section. Text color I'm going to clear out. Actually, I want it to be a little bit darker. Make the text a little bit smaller. About there is perfect. I'm going to divide up these paragraphs a little bit better. And then it looks like the template gets rid of the padding here at the bottom. I don't think that that's in this particular, yeah, because we've got a top, but we don't have a bottom. I think that that might actually be in our row settings. There we go. Let's make that the same on the top and the bottom. All right, and one last thing we're going to throw in here is a button. Big red shiny button. Go ahead and turn on custom styles for the button. Button background color, I picked this red. Again, just a thing of mine, I really don't like borders on my buttons. So I get rid of that right off the bat. Do want just a little more of a radius. I'd like it a little bit bigger. Perfect. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop over here to kind of take a look at what I've got set up compared to what I've done before. So we're just recreating this website. Looks good, looks good. Looks like I had quite a bit more room above and below this. And it looks like I got rid of the margin altogether. So let's do that. So coming in here, in our general section, on our section, we got to get rid of our padding. And then our row will sometimes have a default margin. So we need to get rid of that as well. Let's also bump up this. It's about 120 pixels. Looks about where we were at before. And that's just going to give us a little bit more space. It is totally okay in a website design to have negative space. And with the Divi Visual Builder, you're never going to be able to completely get rid of this while you're in the Visual Builder settings. But you'll see once we save it and view it on our live testing site, it'll look more like this where it lines up with the edges. But for right now, this is good enough, close enough for us. Hey, this is Jimmy Blevins again. Want to say thank you for getting through another tutorial, part 2, building a website with the Mozaic platform. If you like what you see and you want to learn more information about Mozaic, visit us at mosaictech.com, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.